perfected the technique but didn't invent it. He was inspired by players from the 90s and even the 50s. So how do you do it? You have to hit the ball head on with as short a contact time as possible so the ball doesn't spin. Hitting by the valve helps with that short contact time, as it's the hardest part of the football. So why don't we see knuckleballs much anymore? It's because players are being told not to shoot from dead ball situations because the XG is so low. In fact, as Opta shows here, since the 08-09 season there's been a 10% reduction in players shooting from free kicks in the Premier League. And in 23-24, a record low of 11 free kicks found the back of the net. And the knuckleball, though spectacular, is imprecise, which is why it's becoming a thing of the past.
Good afternoon and welcome to Wembley Way, where 3 years ago, thousands upon thousands of England supporters made their way up to the National Stadium to witness history. The Lionesses crowned European champions, Chloe Kelly, with an iconic goal and an iconic celebration, bringing football home. Fast forward to today, and history is on the line once again. The Lionesses looking to retain that title and become the first English side to win silverware on foreign soil. Standing in their way, Spain, the world champions, scintillating, suave, superb at times. But this roller coaster ride of a tournament for England is about to take one final twist, and we're building up from Wembley Box Park live on talkSPORT. One game away. How are you feeling this afternoon ahead of this game?
Yeah, I mean, before the tournament, I said Spain were my favourites all day long. I think they're most people's favourites. But I think how they played against Switzerland, I thought that was their worst performance. And I thought, oh, they'll bounce back against Germany. I thought Germany were actually better than Spain. So there are fragilities in their back line. You know, I expect Alexandria to come back into the lineup because she was suspended and Mendes played, and she's only played like 5 caps. Played 5 times, sorry, for Spain. So I do think we can do it. We have that belief. I was saying to Perry before he came on air, like, not because I'm a Man United fan, but Manchester United of old would always find a way, wouldn't we? Not anymore, we don't find a way, but we used to. And everybody knew it was a 94th minute, and you know Man United were going to score. That's how this Lionesses work, don't they? You said the same thing, Pearl, didn't you, about this team? You said the other day.
They're the sporting equivalent of Liam Neeson in Taken. No, they are. They will find you, and they will kill you off. That's we was watching the game, wasn't we, against Italy? You was having a major panic up. When producer Ryan was having a panic up, getting nervous. And what did I say? Calm down. It's going to be all right. We will score. I didn't think it would be 90+6 when Ajamang obviously got a brilliant finish, but it's just I don't see a panic amongst the England players, and more importantly, there's never any panic from Sarina Wiegman on the touchline. And as a player, Leanne, you know yourself, when you're looking across and you've got your coaching staff and the manager and being very methodical about, you know, what she's going to do. I know there's been criticisms about not bringing substitution early enough, but you can't criticise her because every substitution she's brought on and everyone that has done their job and changed the game. So we said as well that there's a fine line between being, as a man, a genius and a fool. And every time at the moment, Sarina Wiegman was coming on the genius side.
I do think, though, I agree with you, because you can't really argue when they win the game, but I do think there are times where she knows she's got away with one, you know, especially against Sweden and especially against Italy. Like, you can see there's a sign of relief. But I'm a big believer is she's laid down the foundation. So this team, you know, over the years they've had her, I mean, there's no coincidence. She's made 5 major finals, the Netherlands and England. Every tournament she's coached at and managed that, she's made the final. Like, that is incredible. And, like, there's not many changes. When you look at the players that have come in since Sarina came in, when Phil Neville, you know, moved on and that, like, I believe if Sarina was our manager when we were there, we would be able to. Whoever's there, she seems to get the best out of these players. We've got no Mary Earps, we've got no Millie Bright, Frank Kirby retired before the tournament. Everyone's like, what's going on? And now look, we haven't even really spoken about those players or people, have we?
Actually, do you need to give Sarina Wiegman a lot of credit as well for just how calm she stays throughout a tournament, whether it's on the touchline, unless England are scoring a late winner, obviously. But in all the press conferences, she's nice and on the players in that dressing room, and they must take that on and take it into these games and hopefully into the final.
Absolutely, she's Sarina the Swan Wiegman, isn't she? Because she's just gliding across the water, but her legs might be like paddling and panicking underneath. But it doesn't change. She had a couple of celebrations where she did get very emotional, quite rightly, when Ajamang scored, which you expect. But the other thing that I like is I think that she manages the human beings really well, rather than just the players, that the players as people, because you can bet your life, if you're Beth Mead, if you're Chloe Kelly, you're going to be raging that you're not playing, and you'll be watching on the touchline thinking, hold on a minute, you've got to put me on a minute. Do you know what I mean? I want to go on and make a difference, but they put their egos to one side and then everybody comes together.
I think in Dutch culture as well, it's quite blunt, isn't it? And I quite like that, you know, with regards to she's open and honest with her communication, like Perry says, because that's all we ever wanted in the women's game. There's a lot of managers that came in, you know, whether it be a man, whether it be a woman, they just give you lip service. If you're not playing, you just want to know why you're not playing. Don't try and find an excuse. And I think sometimes people will say, oh, you know, I want to be told the factual truth, when actually they don't. And that's why I think we're seeing some players not at the tournament, because I think she's been honest with them and they haven't liked what she's had to say, and they've removed themselves.
Perry was, of course, talking there about those impact subs and the agent of chaos, Michelle Ajamang, and of course Chloe Kelly, and the impact that she's made. And it seems like the big question about the teams heading into this game, should they start? Should those players get the chance from the off to show what they can do? Or if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep them on the bench and bring them on as finishers and players that can impact the game. What do you think, Leah?
I think Chloe Kelly, I mean, I don't know what more she can do to start a game. Her impact from the start, her impact when she comes on is incredible. I think Alessia Russo still deserves to continue to play. I don't think... But like the same as is similar to like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer coming off the bench for Man United. There's impact subs, and this player, Michelle Ajamang, 19 years old, played 4 times for England, scored 3 times. Like, incredible for Michelle. But I do think that it depends if Lauren James is fit and healthy, because I have a feeling what I would do and what Sarina would do is I think she's going to start Beth Mead, because that's what she did when Lauren James came off at half-time against Italy. She put Beth Mead in, and Beth won the penalty and played well. So I think we could see, I want Chloe to start, but again, these impact subs come coming off the bench. She did it with Ella Toone and Alessia Russo 3 years ago, didn't she, at Wembley? And that's what they were doing. Ellen White would run her socks off for 60 minutes, then Alessia would come in. So she has her methodology of what she wants to do, and that's what she does.
Perry, let me take you back to 1987 when you came on in a final and made an impact, got an assist.
I'm glad you didn't say finisher, because I couldn't hit a cow's backside of a banjo. So impact...
Finisher was too strong, Perry.
Yeah, very much, yeah.
But, I mean, you have been in that scenario, and I'm sure you had that sinking feeling when you knew you weren't starting in that final, but you would have known that your role was to come on and make something happen. What were the kind of conversations you had with your manager heading into that game?
On the side of the pitch, don't you? And you have a flip chart, and they say to play, I want you to do here. When you're a player, all you want to do in free play with the ball and off the ball, that's it. That's all you want to know.
You don't remember what they say either. You're taking it in, aren't you, when you're coming off the bench?
Yeah, you're nodding.
Because my mum and dad used to say to me, oh, what did the manager say? And I'd be like, I was listening, but I can't tell you.
No, you're nodding, thinking, I just want to get on the pitch and cause a bit of mayhem. And all George Graham said to me at that time was, the two centre-halves, it was Hanson and Gillespie, they're breathing out their backsides because obviously it was in like the 75th minute. Go on, run around, don't you dare come short. I want you to run in behind, because that's where you're causing problems. You don't come short and get his feet, that's not your game. And then when you're off the ball, you make sure you go and close down. That's it. Honestly, football is very simple. There's little algorithms and or maybe little tactics you have in between it, but really, when you've got the ball, right, you pass it the same colour shirt you're wearing, preferably going forwards. When you haven't got the ball, you work your socks off, individually collectively, go and win the ball back. Right?
It's so true. It's so true. And I think, I'm not a big fan of stats and XG and all that. I think, one of the coaches in America says, my eyes don't lie. So when they're picking players, they're not looking at how much they run, all this type of stuff. Yes, it can play a part, but you're right. Look, when we used to play football when we were kids, we didn't even have bibs on. You just knew who you were passing to, didn't you? When you're playing on the pitch, 11 jumpers for goal. Yeah, always. Jumpers for goalposts. We always found our teammates, didn't we? But I think the way football is now, you're right. There's iPads on the side. They're looking at the replays. They're looking at this, looking at that. Like I always say, if you can't pass from me to you, then you're no good.
I was the one that didn't get past to. That was usually my role. And by the way, talking of the 80s, brilliant shirt this.
Oh,
by the way, Lianne. The three lions.
It's 82, is it?
I think so. My mate got it for me for my on my hen weekend. So yeah.
Yeah, that is wonderful. Dressed in white there with the three lions on the chest. Right, our reporter Uma Gurav is here with us at Box Park, Wembley, and I believe she has some England fans alongside her.
Thank you, Ollie. Now I'm here with England fans Mia and Kira, who I think are feeling pretty good about the game. How are you guys feeling?
Nervous but excited. I think we're really confident, aren't we? We've been talking about the score and hoping that we do the job today.
No, I'm confident. I think going into it was a little bit unsure, but I think from how they've been the last couple of games, I think we've got a good shot.
You guys were here, weren't you, watching the Sweden penalty shootout game, which obviously was a difficult one.
Stressful.
What's it been like following the team?
Stressful, leaving it to the last minute, but worth it, and that's why you're a football fan, following it through. And I think it's been exciting seeing the younger players come through as well, like Michelle. I'm an Arsenal fan as well, so seeing her do amazingly, big things for next season, I hope.
In Sarina we trust. And finally, have you guys got a message for the Lionesses?
Have some fun, done the country proud anyway, so yeah. See what
Come on, England!
Come on, England.
Thank you so much. Back to you, Ollie.
Great stuff. I think stressful does sum it up, really, doesn't it? Right, there's plenty of other sport going on today. Let's check in on the cricket. It's the final day at Old Trafford in the Test match between England and India. Nick Ellaby is watching for talkSPORT. Nick, thanks very much indeed. There's also pre-season action going on. It's the Groves Clink derby. Arsenal against Newcastle. Ian Abrahams is watching for us. And Tom Clayton is watching the Belgian Grand Prix. Thanks, Tom. A big fist pump from Perry when Odegaard scored that penalty. It's only pre-season, Perry. Don't worry about
Max
it.
Dowman.
Yeah.
Told you, didn't I? If you're old enough, you're good enough.
Very, very good player indeed. Right, in just a moment here on the Sunday session on talkSPORT, we'll bring you more from Box Park, Wembley, and we've got to hear a bit more about Lianne's experience at Oasis last night. We might even get her to sing.
Italy scores a goal, like that's their mentality. They just build up a wall and they're very dangerous in the counter-attack.
And Jurang is there! Can she put it in? She does! England teenage sensation, the comeback queen has done it!
19 years old, composure in that moment, to not just snap at it.
To put England in the final. Kelly! Save! Kelly there again! It's in! England 2! Italy 1! This is just extraordinary!
You know the phrase, back from the brink. These Lionesses are reinventing that word.
Sarina Wiegman's team are through to the Euro 2025 final!
Go on, Leanne Sanderson, sing it out.
If England win, then I will.
Oh, I love that. Absolutely love it. Yeah.
Everyone will turn off the radio.
She just have to roll with it, wouldn't she?
Yeah. This is the Sunday session here on talkSPORT. We are at Box Park, Wembley, ahead of a huge game for the Lionesses. They are taking on Spain in the Euros final. We're only a matter of hours away from kickoff. Of course, it's going to be live on talkSPORT. I'm alongside the former Arsenal winger Perry Groves and the former Lioness and amazing singer Lianne Sanderson. Lianne, I wanted to ask you about this game against Spain because, of course, this is the team that England faced in the World Cup final a couple of years ago. They lost that day 1-0. It's actually Spain's first European Championship final too, but is today about revenge. How much will that game be playing on the players' minds, do you think?
I think to a certain degree. I mean, I think a player like Lucy Bronze, who made a mistake in that game when Olga Carmona scored that goal, I think she'll be thinking about that type of thing. She dribbled across the pitch with the ball. I mean, she's been fantastic in this tournament, so you think about those things as a player. But I think they know how good Spain are, and I do think they can take a lot of confidence from the fact that Arsenal beat Barcelona in the Champions League final, because they went into that game as the underdogs. No one put, like, said Arsenal had no chance in that final, and they did. Barcelona had an off day, and we have to pray that Spain have an off day today, because if they start cooking, it's game over. Individually, Alexia Putellas and Aitana Bonmatí, the last 4 years, they flip-flop who's got the Ballon d'Or. That's how good they are. And they have Patry, they have top-quality players. So, but I believe we can do it. But we have to turn up. We cannot wait. Like, 20 minutes into these games, against Sweden, against Italy, we're asleep. And against a team like Spain, if you start that way, you'll be 2 or 3-0 down, and it'll be game over. Because we know they're going to outpossess us. That's the reality. But we have to take care of the ball when we do have it.
Yeah, I mean, that midfield battle, Perry, is just going to be unbelievably important, isn't it? Because, you know, like Lianne says, there is just so much control in the centre of the park for Spain. How do England go about trying to counteract that?
You've got to make it physical. You've got to make sure that you win your 50-50s, you know, your little personal battles. If you look at Spain's midfield, Bonmatí and Putellas, both of them have won the Ballon d'Or twice. So that just tells you the level. This is up another level.
Yeah, not bad.
Exactly. Even from obviously the quarter-finals, semis, you know full well that, as Lianne said, Spain will have a lot of possession. What you've got to do is you've got to make sure you're disciplined when you're out of possession and when you get shit. And when they played against Germany, Germany went into like a 4-5-1 and they made it very compact in midfield.
And they couldn't get through them.
And they couldn't get, but when Spain lost possession, Germany were very good on the counter-attack. They had a lot of options when they went down Spain's left-hand side. But the thing with Germany is they couldn't capitalise on them because they missed 3 or 4 good chances. And you have to be ruthless.
That's why I think Chloe Kelly would be good from the start, because she's a fantastic player. But counter-attacking football is her style. It's not Beth Mead's type of style.
Yeah.
And I agree with Perry what he's saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, England have played Spain, by the way, since that World Cup final. And that includes a 1-0 win here at Wembley as well back in February too. So, I mean, there will be positives from that game, especially, that these England players can take. They know that they can beat this Spanish side. They can take belief from that.
Yeah, they're beatable, and I think, you know, them beating them then, they weren't on the greatest run of form, the Lionesses, leading into that game. So it was good they had those couple of games against USA and Spain. But I think, honestly, Perry might say the same. Like, as a player, you approach each game like it's a new game. You don't look at it and think, oh, they beat us last year, we beat them this year. You just go into it. I never personally liked knowing who I was going up against, particularly. I didn't need to know if they were right-footed, left-footed. You know each other, you play each other enough. And some players like a lot of information, whereas I just wanted them to worry about me. So that's how I'd be feeling. I think someone like Lucy Bronze has to have a big game today, because they've got top wingers. Like Claudio Pina is a top player, you know, got Paralluelo coming off the bench. Like, they've got really good strength in depth as well. So that's my concern.
Having said that, I feel like the group stages went very well for Spain. Last 2 performances, of course, they've managed to get over the line, but I mean, has it been the Spain that we're used to? Have they hit that top level, do you think?
I think they did at the beginning of the tournament, and then I think in the last 2 games against Switzerland and Germany, they've been a bit off. But these things happen. It's tournament football. You know, you're not going to play every single game 10 out of 10. These things happen. So, like I said, we have to hope they don't turn up today and we play our best football, because they are the top team.
We have to mention Lauren James as well, of course, Perry, because there is a bit of sweating over her fitness, of course, and, you know, it's a difficult situation, isn't it? Because she even came into this tournament a bit under the weather in terms of fitness too, but started those games. Do you take the risk if you are Sarina Wiegman?
No, you can't, because if Lauren James is only 9% fit, you can't have any outfield players that aren't 100% fit against this Spain side. So it might be, we said, like, Mead might play on that right side, or Chloe Kelly, and it might be that you think, right, I might need Lauren James in the last 25 minutes. So if she plays, I don't think Sarina Wiegman is the sort of manager to take a chance.
Well, it seems that way, but again, there's Georgia Stanway that's come into the tournament. Leah Williamson left the game after Sweden on crutches in a protective boot. Leah doesn't look fit. Georgia Stanway doesn't look fit. You know, and I said it yesterday with you, Olly. I said, if I was Chelsea, I'd be absolutely fuming that Lauren James played every minute of every, you know, during this tournament, because, let's be honest, after this tournament, she's probably going to have to take some time off. And that's the reality. Like, if I was Sonia Bonpastor, I'd be fuming. but that's a whole nother story, you know. So there's a lot of injuries within this team, and I think we did look tired. We did look tired against Italy, but that's inevitable, isn't it?
The thing is, though, you know how ruthless football and sport is, Leanne, because Wiegman is not going to be worried about what's going to happen at Chelsea. In a million years, she's like, no, this is the now. Yeah. This is a chance for us to make history. And just like we were talking about Chloe Kelly, do you know she's never started a game for England in a major tournament? Wow. And you think the impact that she's had in tournaments, and she's never started a game. Yeah. So she'll be chomping at the bit, I'd have thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's rejoin our reporter Uma Gurav, who is here with us at Box Park, Wembley. She's got some more England fans alongside her.
Thank you, Olly. Now I'm here with an England fan who looks absolutely incredible and who has had a bit of a journey to get here. Frankie, tell me, what time did you leave this morning to get to Box Park?
Left Swansea at 6 o'clock this morning. Headed up the M4 just so there was no problems. Get you nice and early so I can get on the beer nice and early.
And now I have to ask, I know you're from Swansea, so of course Wales, we did see them in the tournament, we saw them up against England. Were you supporting Wales before?
I was out in Switzerland for that game. I was out there for 2 games. Literally, I did want to see him do well, but I didn't want to see him beat England. And I know that sounds awful, but I've just been supporting England for a few years now. I follow the team around and yeah, I love it, love it.
No, it's been amazing to watch the girls. How are you feeling about today's game up against Spain? It's going to be tough, but you feeling confident?
It is going to be very tough. I think Sarina's got to bring the subs on a bit earlier. And I think 1 or 2 do need to come off the bench that have started before. It's going to be a very, very hard game against the Spanish. Just go out there, play with all your heart, give it all you can, and just get into them from the start.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, there we go, a Welsh England fan wrapped in the St George's flag.
Talk about get on the Wenger bus. It's like, no, Wales are not very good, so I'll support England. But that's how the women's football is bringing people together, because that wouldn't happen, would it, with a Welsh man with the England men's team? No chance. So I think that's how
she's going to get some pelters from her mate, surely.
Which goal in the 6-1 win for England do you think she decided to change her mind and support England?
It sounds, to be fair to her though, it sounds like she's been a lifelong fan of England, which is quite unique because she is Welsh, so I don't think she's changed her mind during that.
Listen, we'll take fans from all
She just loves football. All encompassing, it's not a problem.
Football's the winner, but obviously she is hoping that England can win the final a bit later on. Right, it is full time in the pre-season game between Arsenal and Newcastle. Ian Abrahams.
And Arsenal won it by the odd goal in 5. Arsenal 3, Newcastle 2. Anthony Elanga gave Newcastle a 6-minute lead, but 2 goals in a minute. First one was scored by Mikel Moreno from just inside the penalty area. The second and own goal by Alex Murphy had Arsenal ahead at half-time. Jacob Murphy levelled on 58 minutes. He was very bright the second half for Newcastle. But Arsenal's main man in the second half, 15-year-old Max Dowman, won them a penalty 6 minutes from the end when he was brought down by Joel Linton, converted by Martin Odegaard. It means that Arsenal win 2 out of 2 in Singapore before they head off to Hong Kong to play Spurs. And one bit of bad news for Newcastle, as if they needed any more. Sven Botman, who came on at half-time, only lasted 25 minutes before limping off injured. Let's hope that's not too bad for him. Finished in Singapore, Arsenal 3, Newcastle 2.
And in the cricket is the final day in the test between England and India at Old Trafford. How's it looking for England at the moment, Nick Ellaby?
Well, India just kind of frustrating England a little bit at the moment. They're 269 for 4. Washington Sundar's on 36. Ravi Jadeja 27 at the other end. Both looking set. It is a tricky pitch, but once you get in at Old Trafford, it does get easier to bat. Now, England have dropped a few catches, including Ravi Jadeja by Joe Root, first ball just before lunch. They could come to rue those, and they've actually just brought Joe Root onto bowl with his part-time off spin. So India just kind of really frustrating England. Shubman Gill, as I said, caught behind off Jofra Archer just before lunch for 103. He has actually made 4 centuries this series. He's only the third actually Test captain to ever do that. And Ben Stokes with the other wicket this morning, trapping KL Rahul LBW. Rishabh Pant, we haven't seen him yet. He's got an injured foot. He has been seen on crutches. Not sure where he's going to come out to bat. So England either need 6 or 5 more wickets. India only need another 46 to make England bat again. They're 269 for 4 at Old Trafford.
Nick, thanks very much indeed. I tell you what, Box Park is filling up very nicely indeed here at Wembley. There's cowboy hats on, there's bucket hats on, there's England shirts absolutely everywhere. The excitement is building ahead of the Women's Euros final. The Lionesses taking on Spain. We're going to be crossing live to Switzerland next here on talkSPORT and speak to our top team in Tash Dowie and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk.
When Sir Jim Ratcliffe took control of footballing operations at United, the Manchester-born billionaire was somewhat welcomed in as a homegrown hero, ready to save the club from the dark days of the Glazers. But in just 12 months, he became a punchbag for many fans. So what happened? Well, let's take a look and you can decide for yourself. Over the last 3 years, the club lost 300 million quid, and Ratcliffe rightfully committed to sorting that. But what seemed to get fans' backs up is the way he went about it. For example, talkSPORT understands staff lunch options at the Carrington canteen have been reduced to just soup and sandwiches, which the higher-ups at the club say will save them 1 million quid a year. Now that might make sense for many who don't get free meals at work themselves, but it does get a little bit more picky than that. It was reported that after staff brought some stationery, they were ordered to send sellotape back because it wasn't considered to be essential. And the reward for being Steward of the Week used to be 50 quid, but that was scrapped and replaced by a paper certificate. But it's not just seemingly stingy decisions. In 2024 alone, Ratcliffe oversaw 250 redundancies, and more were announced at the beginning of 2025. Now, while there are people who acknowledge United staff numbers are overinflated, it's the optics which aren't great. Add to the mix the introduction of a flat ticket price of 66 quid for every fan, even children, while Casemiro's on 350 grand a week, and the frustration of fans reached fever pitch. Time will tell whether Ratcliffe's cost-cutting measures will improve outcomes at the club, but one thing's for sure, there's a long way to go for United to be back where many say they belong.
10k for Coldplay.
Yeah, Coldplay are back at Wembley this summer, and we've got a huge VIP prize up for grabs for one lucky listener. We're giving you the chance to win 6 tickets in a private box for you and your mates on August the 22nd with full hospitality. Plus, we're chucking in 10 grand spending money, completely tax-free. Here's how to enter. 18 plus UK, excluding Northern Ireland, for a chance to win. Text the word WIN to 83338 by the 4th of August at 11 o'clock, and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission, or post your name and number to Oasis Prize Draw, PO Box 3190, Colchester, CO2 8GP, to arrive by 5 p.m. on the 7th of August. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. Good luck. Leanne Sanderson will probably be at that gig as well, won't she?
Do you know what?
Oasis last night.
The old Oasis gig's just kicked in because just been a little request for some Red Bull, just for the blood sugar level, just raise those sugar levels. Just
trying to get back to life.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. I mean, this is a very, very excited former Lioness, Leanne Sanderson, alongside the former Arsenal winger Perry Groves. I'm Olly Clink. Right now, it's time to get an update on the football with McDonald's.
UEFA Women's Euro 2025 update on talkSPORT with McDonald's. The new and iconic Big Arch has landed at McDonald's, featuring an unbeatable lineup of juicy beef, cheddar cheese, and its very own signature sauce. Available from 11 a.m. at participating restaurants.
We're just hours away from kick-off over in Switzerland between England and Spain in the Women's Euros final. So let's cross over to Switzerland and speak to our top team. Firstly, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, talkSPORT Lionesses correspondent. How you doing, Courtney?
Very well. I mean, the rain's just hit us, but we're okay. We're excited for the day. A rain is not going to dampen the spirits. It's like we're at home. It's like we're at home, so it's fine.
You two look hilarious. I love it.
Well, that laugh you heard next to Courtney there is Tash.
Leanne, we literally just grabbed some random person and asked for their umbrella.
You look great.
They look should be Mary Poppins.
Yeah. Honestly, this is amazing. You've got our two pundits just under an umbrella out there in Switzerland. But like you say, they're not going to dampen your spirits. I mean, Courtney, I'll start with you. How are the nerves heading into this one? Are you feeling pretty confident?
I think the camp are, for sure. I think they're in a position where they're used to this pressure and they don't go into games with fear. I think they appreciate that Spain are a very good side and there's that mutual respect. But and there's always going to be nerves for a game like this. It's a major tournament, but I think, you know, no more than usual. Whereas for me, I've been a bit of a nervous wreck all morning.
Tash, good to see you both as always. I just wanted to ask you, you know, a lot of people are calling for Sarina Wiegman to bring these substitutions on earlier, but it's like me and Perry was saying, like, is she a tactical genius or is it more like a little bit of luck in the end? Like, what is going on? Because we're all calling for these subs and it's coming in at 86th minute.
I know. Yeah, I actually asked Sarina in the press conference yesterday, I said, can you take us inside your head? Because I think everyone in the nation, all of us in the stands are having heart attacks, but she just seems so cool, calm, as if everything is planned out. She actually said sometimes it's a little bit instinctive, it's just how she feels in the moment. And it is, it's frustrating because I think we've all played the game. You know, when you're getting thrown on with 5 minutes to go, it's very hard to make an impact. And, you know, normally it takes 15 minutes to get into a game, but these subs, credit to them. I've said it, I think, in a way, the subs have saved Sarina. I think you've got to give credit to them and what they've done and the mentality to come on and have that instant impact. And I kind of see it panning out similar today, I'm afraid to say.
I think what the impactors have done is their anger. You know, as you said there, Tash, that they'll be angry on the bench thinking, why don't you put me on? I should be on after an hour. I should be on 65 minutes. But they've managed to sort of temper that anger and then put it in performance. Just going to ask Courtney, on Lauren James, do you take the chance if she's not 100% fit?
I think it depends what level of fitness she's at. If she's sort of 60, 70, I think you do, because I always say this about Lauren James. She has got the type of magical quality that no other player in this squad has got. She can make something out of nothing. So I think you take a sort of 60, 70% fit Lauren James. Obviously, there was a question around her actually coming to the tournament as well. And I think actually she looked quite good. She played herself into form. She looked really fit, especially in the Sweden game, I remember, where she's tracking back and sort of making those runs, and that's not something we normally see from Lauren James. So it's unfortunate, the injury, and obviously as we know remains to be seen, but certainly if she's 60-70% fit, she has to start because she has got magic in those boots.
Tash, we've been talking about those subs, of course, but I want to ask you about the role of Alessia Russo today too, because she's been so good at stretching defences and linking the play and holding the ball up. Just how important is her role today against Spain?
And I think I'm really happy that people have not just, you know, kind of questioned her goal scoring ability. It's actually everything else that she does off the pitch, and for me, she creates her own luck as well. I think her work rate, you can't deny it. She starts that press from the front. You know, she never stops running. She's an intelligent player. She makes those clever runs. Her hold-up play. For me, she's got everything. She really does. She can stretch in behind. She's good. She's strong with the ball. She just hasn't had, in my opinion, enough service this tournament. You know, if you give Alessia Russo a chance, she's going to score it. But for me, I think the service for her, she's been too isolated. So I hope that changes changes today. I really hope a Lauren James and a Hemp comes infield and plays with Russo and links up, and you have more bodies around her, because I think that actually she's been let down a little bit this tournament with regards to that.
I want to ask you both, but I'll come to you first, Courtney, about this Spain side, because before the tournament they were all of our favourites, wasn't they? And they still continue to be the team I think will win this. Unfortunately, my head and my heart telling me two different things. Can we take any confidence from how they played against Switzerland and how they played against Germany?
I think we can. The way that obviously, it wasn't a whitewash the way it was with other games where they were completely dominant and there was, no question about that. I suppose the argument to the other side of the coin is, well, we've not looked great against France, against Sweden, against Italy. So, yeah, I mean, it's 6-1.5 to the other, but I think we're at that point, are we, where you're trying to look for a little bit of everything. And I must admit, I was watching that Germany game feeling a little bit more confident actually about the final, because, as you say, I came into this tournament thinking it'll be England-Spain final. I think Spain will win. I think they'll not necessarily in the final, but sort of run away with it, whereas actually they've come up against a stiffer opposition, or sort of not rolled opposition over the way that I thought they might in the quarterfinals and the semis. So no, Germany have showed us the blueprint in terms of playing on the counter-attack, exploiting that high line, using Alessia Russo. I think it's going to be important for her to drag players in, so then they come with the line, the high line, and then everyone else goes in behind, and we've got pace and abundance, so that's definitely something that we can exploit.
Yeah, I actually, Lee just spoke to Veronica Buquet and actually said, is there any weaknesses in this Spanish team? And she said there absolutely is. They want to be the best on the ball, they are the best on the ball, but they're really focusing on their high press, but with that high press then has a high line, and she said that she knows they can be exploited, so England need to exploit that. I think they need to go more direct today in behind, like Courtney said, in behind that line.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tash, we can hear a bit more of that conversation with Veronica Buquet, your former teammate and Spain captain. She gave her assessment as well of England's performances so far in the tournament.
I think that they have been a little fluffy with the ball. When they played against Italy, that was a team that was waiting. They struggled to create open chances. They struggled to play through. So, but we don't expect that type of game today. Sometimes it's going to happen, and if they do it, then we have to also use those moments to counterattack, to use also the spaces that they have. We are also good in set pieces. I really believe that we can hurt England also in that way.
And you'll be able to hear Tash's chat with the former Spain captain Veronica Buquet in the build-up to the match, along with Courtney's interview with Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer. She's trying to get a job with Talk, isn't she? Or Times Radio, maybe. But yeah, looking forward to that. Just on Veronica Buquet, by the way, whilst that interview was being played out, you just turned to Perry and went, so good.
Oh, I was talking about Tash. Tash was a baller as well. But yeah, Veronica Buquet was a fantastic player. I played with her in America, and she was just unbelievable player and person.
Right, Tash and Courtney, we'll let you go and huddle in away from the rain. Thank you very much.
Thanks, girls.
Indeed, for joining us and enjoy
Thanks, guys. Enjoy the game.
Of course. They've managed to change umbrella mid-interview, by the way.
They've nicked someone else's umbrella as well, haven't they? They're like, oh no, this one isn't big enough for us.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, it's pretty much bright sunshine here at Box Park, Wembley, and it is filling up very, very nicely indeed. That was all thanks to McDonald's.
UEFA Women's Euro 2025 update on talkSPORT with McDonald's. The new and iconic Big Arch has landed at McDonald's, featuring an unbeatable lineup of juicy beef, cheddar cheese, and its very own signature sauce. Available from 11 a.m. at participating restaurants.
Let's get an update from the cricket then. The final day at Old Trafford, it's England against India. How's it looking, Nick Ellaby?
Well, you join me at drinks in the afternoon session. India have got to 278 for 4. They trail England by 33 runs, so they only need another 33 to make England bat again. And this partnership is now worth 56. Ravi Jadeja and Washington Sundar both looking really good, and England a bit flat in the field. They've just brought the part-time off spin of Joe Reed on for a bit of a bowl. Cast at the other end, but not really getting much joy. England have got no reviews left, and I think they might have to turn back to their talisman and hero, Ben Stokes, but he's looked a little bit injured. He's been holding his shoulder and his hamstring today. But I think if we don't get another wicket soon, then they're going to turn to Captain Fantastic. The big question for India is, will Rishabh Pant come out to bat? We think he's broken his foot. He's been seen on crutches. But someone needs to stand up and wrestle this game away from India, who are holding on for the draw. They are 278 for 4, and they need another 33 runs to make England bat again on day 5 at Old Trafford.
Nick, thanks very much indeed. Has your energy drink arrived yet, Leah?
No, it hasn't. I'm fuming.
Oh dear.
Can't get
well, we have to sort
service.
that out, yeah. Maybe Noel Gallagher can come and drop it off.
I saw you wincing when they said Vijay Pradhan and his ankle in.
Ian's got it in his hand.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's on the way. The energy drinks are on the way. And all the energy is here ahead of the final between the Lionesses and Spain. Of course, it is live on talkSPORT. All the build-up follows us here from 4 o'clock. In just a moment, though, we're going to be hearing from some England fans over in Switzerland.
This is it, the tournament is ending if it stays like this.
You can never win a tournament with 11 players. You have to have the full squad. And
we know how important the whole squad is, and that everyone's got to be ready when they're called upon.
Bring so many players on the pitch, and I make the decisions that everyone's ready to go. So
sometimes you feel stupid questioning Sarina Wiegman because of what she's done, and you just think, why is it taking her so long to put the subs on?
What she can do is point to the reality, and they've worked.
And you know, there's sort of a motto that goes around in Sarina: we trust.
Mead is there, and Jiman! 2-2!
We never say never. We know that we can still get the result that we want no matter what time it is in the game.
It's given them as much freedom to enjoy the experience, but know that they're ready to perform and sort of make their mark on the pitch.
But I think most of our players are key players when you look now at the goal scorers and the goal creators. And
I just think for me, I come onto the pitch and I know my role to come onto the pitch and make something happen. That's what I try to do.
To put England in the final. Kelly! Save! Kelly there again! It's in!
It's special. It's really special what they've created here. And it's not just about the start 11. It really is about that squad. It's a special squad.
It is indeed a special squad who have kept us on the edge of our seat, and they've made it all the way to the final. The Lionesses taking on Spain. We are live here on talkSPORT at Box Park, Wembley. I'm Olly Clink. I'm alongside the former Arsenal winger Perry Groves and the former Lioness in her England shirt, Lianne Sanderson. She has got an energy drink. It looks curiously like a beer, but I'm not going to ask any questions.
I don't drink beer, Olly.
Okay,
so.
Well, there we go. That's answered that one then. Right, let's head over to Switzerland then, shall we? Because our reporter Angelina Kelly is in Basel ahead of the final, and she has some England fans alongside her.
Thanks, Olly. Yes, I am right outside the stadium, and I have got an England fan here with me. What's your name?
My name's Al.
And how are you feeling about this game? Are you feeling nervous? In Sarina we trust? Are you worried about the subs?
I feel pretty calm. I mean, absolutely 100% in Sarina we trust. You know, it's impossible to do anything else really, you know, after a track record in all competitions, but particularly in the Euros. And with what's happened in the last 2 games, the quarters and the semis, then it's Sarina all the way. I think it's about a starting 11 and what she chooses to do. But for me, keep the super subs on the bench and bring Michelle and Chloe on when they're needed.
And finally, these players have made 3 finals in a row now. What kind of legacy are they building?
Oh, it's just phenomenal. I mean, it's not just a footballing legacy, is it? It's a social and a moral legacy as well. You know, when we look at what's happened to Jess and Michelle in the last sort of week or so, you know, I think that they're doing so much more for women than just what they're doing in the football arena.
There you have it, doing more for women than in the football arena. I couldn't have put it better myself. Back to you guys in London.
What a fantastic answer that was, by the way, Perry Groves. The social and the moral side of all of this too.
Absolutely. It's like everybody coming together, and don't forget the inspirational side of it as well, because we mentioned about Michelle Agiamak. She was a ball girl, and I think it was Sarina Wiegman's 3rd game in charge. So she saw the likes of Toon and Williamson, Walsall walking out and thinking, I want to be in your boots one day. So this group of players, again, not just a social, but the inspirational effect they can have on these young girls watching, thinking, I have a career path now. So you think how much, you know, the women's game's come on in the last 10 years, where you can actually have a proper career, is absolutely amazing.
It is fantastic to see. Right, it's time now to discuss the odds ahead of the Women's Euros final with talkSPORT Bet.
Bring it on with talkSPORT Bet. Download the app or visit talksportbet.com for exclusive offers and bonuses. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
I am delighted to welcome in talkSPORT Bet ambassador Ryan Scott Douglas. Firstly, Ryan, how are the nerves ahead of the Lionesses' big game?
Yeah, you know what? Surprisingly calm. I mean, don't get me wrong, this Spain side, they're one to be feared, but I am feeling there's just a level of grounded. I'm soaking in the atmosphere as well. I like to listen to the shows, by the way, before I come on them, but obviously I've been travelling around, so what's the vibe here? Is it optimistic, is it? I'm surely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's coming home, mate. It's coming home,
is it, yeah?
Well, you tell me, because you've got the match odds for this game.
Beautifully done. Beautifully. I like the way you're doing it. Look, I am glass half full, but I've got to be level-headed here, and I've got to give all accounts. And look, England, they've shown that they can dominate a game. However, the last couple of games, there's just been that vulnerability that's creeping into our vocabulary, creeping into the play here. And I'm building up to the fact that I have to tell the nation, I have to tell the talkSPORT listeners that Spain are the favourites. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about that, and I'm sorry about that. But they're on at 7 to 10. But you talk about this Spain side, though, it's one that's absolutely littered with quality. But if anything, it's just going to boost this journey up a little bit more when England eventually bring it home. Do you know what I mean? But it's littered with quality. You've got, you know, the likes of Bon Mati, who was the match winner in the last game. But you've got the top goal scorer in the tournament in Gonzalez as well. 4 goals in 5 games. So at 7 to 10, look, I think that's fair. England, by comparison, they're the clear outsiders at 100 to 30. So there is definitely a difference there when it comes to just looking at this match, 90 minutes. And the draw, which would take us, of course, to dreaded extra time, is on at 13 to 5. So that's what I've got to tell the nation today. Don't worry about it. However, in terms of what the odds are saying, it translates to Spain being the favourites.
Everyone loves an underdog, though, Ryan,
exactly.
Anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Did you see Ryan's reasoning there right at the start? He said, yeah, I'm feeling really confident. And then he went on and on and on. Just saying, oh, yeah, to be fair, Spain are favourites. You know, it's like when your manager tells you not playing.
That's not a bad bet, though, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
When your manager tells you not playing, right, and he goes on, he's reading, you think, just tell me. You're sitting there going, I know what's coming.
Come on, Ryan.
I just had to do it gently. That's all. I just wanted to just ease it in first, but there we go.
Well, you mentioned extra time there as well.
Yes.
There's been so much drama in these knockout stages, especially involving England. How likely is it to go to extra time or even a penalty shootout?
Oh, man. The penalties, I can't do penalties at the best of times. Even as a neutral, if Man United and England aren't involved, still I look at penalties and you see the players walk up to the spot and you think, oh, you poor thing. Do you know what I mean? But in terms of the odds here, England to win in extra time is 15-1. 15-1. And you've got Spain in extra time by 17-2, so it still translates to the fact that Spain would perhaps do it over England if it got to extra time. And in true 50-50 roulette-style penalty fashion, both teams are priced at 12-1 to win on penalties. So if it gets there, it's just a case of which team do you want to pick here. Let's hope, for our nerves' sake, it doesn't get that far. However, 12-1 for either one of these teams to win on penalties. That's what we're looking at, guys.
I'm going to get Parry and Lianne's thoughts a bit later on the penalties too, because we saw some shootout earlier in the tournament. Now, what about the odds for the first goal scorer? Ryan?
Yeah. Goal scorers. I mean, I've talked about it, and I was doing it gently there. This Spain side, there's goals all over the pitch. They've demolished teams. England have as well, but I'm just going to, again, just to be balanced here, we've got Gonzalez to score first at 39-10. You've got to look at it. If you want to do a balanced bet builder, you've got to look at that, I'm afraid. Any time's at 64, so that's 6-4, so that's not a bad price either. Patea's at 8-1. I think second goal scorer in the tournament as well. That's not bad at 8-1 first. But we'll look at the Lionesses, shall we? That's what we're here to do. So Toon, any time prices for Toon and Kelly are quite good at 4-1. To score first for Toon is 11-1. However, Ange talked about it in that interview just there with that fan. That fan has talked about Ajamang, right? And we've talked about her and how grounded she's been. She's 19 years of age as well. It could be decided off the bench. It's not about who starts a game sometimes. It's about who finishes it. And I did a little call into talkSPORT Bet before we came here. I said, what can you do about this Lioness in particular? And they boosted her price to score any time to 7-2. So you can get that right now. I think that is a really, really good bet from my perspective anyway, because I think it could happen. And it's always fine margins between these two teams when England and Spain play each other. I was doing some research. The last 7 meetings between these two have finished level or been decided by 1 goal. So it could be as simple as that. You can even look at England 1-0 at 11-1, by the way. That's not too shabby. But I'm looking at Asham.
Yeah, you do treat us, by the way, though, don't you, Ryan? With your little price boost.
Yeah, I do.
They're always welcome.
Best,
and well done for ringing in and sorting that out. Thank you very much for that. Finally, any odds on a double? And I really like this, right?
Yeah.
The Lionesses to win the Euros today. Well, we know it's coming home,
of course.
Despite all the odds and Spain being the favourites. Don't listen to any of that.
Yeah.
And the men's senior team to win the World Cup next year. What odds can we get on that?
Now we're talking, eh? That's a big old bet. That is. That's a big old bet. Well, I've done it. I've put them both together in a double. And I can tell you the price is 20-1. 20-1 for the Lionesses to do it today, and for England to do it in the World Cup, the men's team, to do it next year. So 20-1, England are third favourites in that competition, so that's why it'll bring the price right up. So there we are. There we have it. If you're listening to that and you think that both England sides can do it, that's never been done before, has it, really? So it's going to be history, but at 20-1, you can have a look at it, Ollie.
Oh, Ryan, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. I mean, I was a bit more confident before you arrived, I've got to say.
But he's telling the truth, though. It's the reality.
It's truthful. I still think we're going to do it for the record.
Good man.
But the odds don't. It's a little bit of a mood sucker, wasn't it?
Good man, Ryan. Thanks very much for your company. That was a look at the latest odds. Thanks to talkSPORT Bet. Terms and conditions apply. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Bring it on with talkSPORT Bet. Download the app or visit talksportbet.com for exclusive offers and bonuses. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Let's check in on the cricket, shall we? At Old Trafford, it's the final day. It's England against India. Nick Ellaby, how's it looking for England at the moment?
Well, things have gone a little bit flat, still a bit flat. England looking for inspiration, but if you need a bit of inspiration, who do you turn to? Captain fantastic, Ben Stokes. I mean, he's been playing through shoulder tweak, hamstring. We're a bit worried about his hamstring, but he's revving up now to come back on to bowl. There are 46 overs left. India are 287 for 4. Washington's on 40 and Jadeja on 38, both looking pretty good, well set on this pitch, and at Old Trafford, when you get in, it's quite a nice pitch to bat on. It's kind of at that time now we're starting to make those calculations. India have got basically a session and a half to survive. England need to get 6 wickets before the end of the play. We're going to have a full 90 overs, so 46 overs remaining, and Ben Stokes coming back into bowl for his second spell today to Jadeja, who lets that go through to the keeper. India 287 for 4. They trail by 24 runs. Looks like England might have to bat again at some point, and the big question is, will Rishabh Pant bat? He is injured and has been seen on crutches today. So India trying to hang on, and England looking for inspiration to wrap up this series with 1 match to play.
Nick, thank you very much indeed. The atmosphere is building very nicely here. We're just over 2 hours from kickoff between England and Spain in the Women's Euros final. We are live here at Box Park, Wembley. I've been looking around at some England shirts. I've seen a bronze, I've seen a toon, I've seen an Ajamang as well, and these fans are ready to go and ready to throw their drinks, hopefully, as England try and bring it home. Up next here on talkSPORT, we're going to be hearing from both Sarina Wiegman and Leah Williamson ahead of today's final, which starts in just over 2 hours.
After football. For a lot of players, it means going into punditry. Some turn to coaching or working in the game in other ways. But what about the rest? Some former footballers turn their sights away from the game, and there are a few big surprises. First up, from rainbow flicks to pancake flips. Ex-Chelsea and Southampton defender Ken Monku switched up his footballing career to buy a Dutch pancake house. He bought out the shop, which had been his favourite pancake spot as a child, and before long he was mixing the batter and getting behind the stove. Next, Everton legend Thomas Gravesen swapped out the high stakes of the Premier League for those of the poker room. He made over 150 appearances for the Toffees and won the Scottish Premier League with Celtic. Turned out the Danish international was pretty darn good at poker. He racked up a reported £100 million from his Las Vegas adventures. Remember former Chelsea goalkeeper Petr Cech? Turns out football nets weren't the only goals he was pretty handy in front of. After retirement, he became a goaltender in ice hockey. Same skills, very different surface. And he even won a Division 2 title with Guildford Phoenix. For ex-Liverpool centre-back Daniel Agger, it wasn't just fancy footwork that was in his blood. He was also pretty good with his hands. The Denmark international turned to tattoo artistry after he hung up his boots. He'd qualified as a skin artist while at Anfield, and he then became the co-owner of his own tattoo company as well. It's not all glamour for ex-pros, though. 1966 World Cup winner Ray Wilson set up a very different kind of business. He became an undertaker after he retired. Finally, not many people can say they've won both a World Cup and starred in an Oscar-winning film. In fact, there's only one person in the entire world who can say that. Frank Leboeuf, the former Chelsea defender, was part of the 1998 France squad who won the World Cup. He ended up marking Brazil's Ronaldo in the final and helped his side to a 3-0 win. But Leboeuf had already begun acting on the side while he was playing football, and his biggest role came some years after his retirement when he landed the part of a doctor in the Stephen Hawking biopic The Theory of Everything.
I embrace the career of acting, so I want to learn more. So seeing lots of movies is a part of my job.
To be honest, with all the dramatic diving in the game these days, there's probably tons of ex-pros who've got the acting skills to make it in Hollywood.
Hello and welcome to Box Park on Wembley Way ahead of the Women's Euros final between England and Spain, which kicks off in just under 2 hours' time. We are very excited indeed, and so is this place. The music is pumping, the England flags are wrapped around the fans here, and they are looking forward to a huge game for the Lionesses. We'll bring you more of our preview in just a moment. We're going to hear from the England manager, Sarina. Today, what's the latest on the fifth and final day at the cricket? Nick Ellaby.
Well, a draw now more likely than an England win. India are 290 for 4. They trail by 21, so just another 21 to make England bat again. Couple of batters at the crease, the all-rounders. Washington on 40, Jadeja on 39, both looking set. England have turned to Ben Stokes to try and find a bit of inspiration as they look to get these last 6 wickets, but he's holding his shoulder and his hamstring. Not quite sure how fit he is. Ed Sheeran's in the crowd at Old Trafford taking selfies with everyone. India 290 for 4. They trail by 21, looking to hold on, draw this game and take the series to that last game at the Oval on Wednesday.
Nick, thanks very much indeed. Earlier, Arsenal beat Newcastle 3-2 in their pre-season friendly in Singapore. Well, right now, over on talkSPORT 2, there's live commentary of the women's match play darts taking place at the Winter Gardens in Blackpool, with the men's final between Luke Littler and James Wade beginning from 7 o'clock, also on talkSPORT 2. Now, has the F1 in Belgium begun yet? Tom Clayton.
Well, it's been an hour since we were meant to be underway, but the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa-Francorchamps was delayed due to the rain. But some good news, the rain has gone away and we should be underway shortly. In fact, the FIA, just now it's popped up on my screen, say the race will get underway at 20 past 4 local time. That's 20 past 3 here, so in around about 15 minutes time. We're still under red flag conditions, so we could still get a full Grand Prix in this afternoon at Spa-Francorchamps. It's the Belgian Grand Prix.
Good stuff, Tom. Right time, Olly Clink. I'm alongside the former Lioness, Leanne Sanderson, and the former Arsenal winger, Perry Groves. This is the Sunday session, live from Box Park, Wembley, on talkSPORT. Now, I think we should hear from the England... I mean, you said it earlier, Perry, has by bringing on those subs and having last-minute drama, and I mean, at times she has been questioned, she has been criticised, but our Lionesses correspondent Courtney Sue McKirk has been speaking to her in the build-up to today's final, and she gave an interesting insight into her side's preparations.
Sarina, I have to ask you, I wasn't going to open this question, but when you walked past us initially, you made a bit of a beeline for the pitch to walk on the pitch. Is that a bit of a superstition, or just wishing you could get your boots back on and play in these big occasions?
Yeah, the last one. Then I think, ooh, I would like to play here too. Now, I always have a look at the pitch, and we always have the conversation about how high should the grass be, and the ball needs to be rolling, and so then I make a prediction. Is it 22 or 23 millimeters? I think it's about 24. And then I bring that back to the technical stuff, and we have conversations how we're going to try and ask for the height of the grass.
Amazing. I'm learning something new. I love that. In terms of you and your experience, another major tournament final, I just wondered if there's anything that you've changed as you've gone through these processes, or actually is the success in the consistency?
No, you always learn. What we're trying to do, of course, is that's for every game, and so also for this game, trying to be the best prepared and trying to get the players in the best possible position that they can go out there and play. And what we always do is try to figure out together with the, there's a team behind the team, like the scouts and the performance team, that we're so well prepared. We know exactly what the opponent does, and then we make a game plan, and then we're trying to get that as clear as possible to the group and get them the best prepared. And we have experienced now so many games.
Well, how about that? Making sure she knows how long the grass is, Lianne. I mean, that just shows, doesn't it, her attention to detail as a manager.
Yeah, it does. I think it's interesting because I don't know many coaches that are like that, but I do think a lot of them get wrapped up in, when the pitches are not watered. I remember Pep Guardiola was saying that teams in the Premier League weren't watering their pitch because then it made it easier for them because they wanted to zip the ball around. So, yeah, it's amazing what these managers and how they think.
Do you know what? I don't think there's enough managers. We're lucky enough to do live comments of games. Enough managers don't watch their team warm up. If you remember when Jurgen Klopp with Liverpool, we go and stand in the centre circle, the he'd watch his own team warm up, then he'd turn around and see how the opposition were warming up, maybe if they do any sort of functional play, so you get an idea of the team shape they're playing. On the grass, but I think the Premier League, the shortest you're allowed to have it is 22 millimetres. So all the top teams want short grass, and as Leanne said there, want it wet, so the ball zips around nice and quickly.
Look at you knowing how many millimetres and all that.
Wow.
Sarina who?
That's just
Perry
Mikel.
Perry Groundsman, I think.
Exactly. That's just Mikel, just like the osmosis, which like seep him into for that. But then we're going to talk about penalties later on.
Yeah.
So the attention to detail there, but maybe not in the penalties.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that now, actually, because you were mentioning to me the other day, Perry, that Sarina Wiegman was asked about penalty practice, especially after that penalty shootout earlier on in the tournament, where there were so many missed. But she was saying that actually practice during this tournament, not a massive priority. They were focusing on other things.
Well, she did a press conference before the semi-final against Italy. She was asked, have you been practicing penalties? And she actually said no. She had more attention onto the functional play and set pieces. And I just thought that she had set herself up to be criticised, because we're talking about elite sport. The penalties were bad. Let's be honest, both teams were really bad in the quarterfinals, right? You should be practicing your penalties, because it's all about your routine and your mindset and who's going to take them, what order you're taking them in. I was gobsmacked that she actually admitted they hadn't been practicing penalties, because it leaves yourself open. Chloe Kelly takes the penalty, it's saved, and lucky enough she actually puts it away. But can you imagine the amount of sticks she'd have got if Chloe Kelly had missed the penalty and we'd have gone out?
It's interesting as well, because when I played for England, we used to practice them every single day at a major tournament, you know, but at the same time our managers and coaches never won. We never won. You know, we won the bronze medal in 2015, so they can't, you know, there's a lot of emphasis on set piece coach, but I agree with you. I don't think you can ever recreate that real life situation, because it's easy taking it in front of your teammates at St George's Park, isn't it? But we used to practice our walk up, we used to practice how you want. I never liked anyone passing me the ball. I like to get the ball myself. I had to be the last person to touch it, because you know there's a lot of goalkeepers that try and hand the ball. You know, the mind games behind penalties now. How do you walk up? Like Chloe Kelly's got her philosophy. She's never missed a penalty till the other day. So it's quite concerning that they don't practice, because I'm quite shocked, because if I was on that team, I'd be saying, can I just stay behind and practice? The same as I'd be saying, can I stay behind and practice my shots? Can I just take a couple of penalties? Because it's good for the mindset. But like I said, you can never recreate a real life situation. I love taking pens. I always wanted to take the
Where
first
did you
one.
stick it?
I told this to my mate, actually, that got me this shirt off my head, and I actually missed a penalty against him in a charity game the other week. So I changed my mind, because I got thought...
Because you thought he knows what I'm going.
Yeah, we were on holiday together, and I said to him, I always go bottom right. I always had more accuracy going bottom right, my right, and I had more power and pace going to the left. And I've only missed 2 penalties in my career, and I remember them like they were yesterday.
Yeah, you should have practiced a bit more before those ones.
But what it is, as Leanne said, you can't recreate the pressure, right? You cannot. You take pressure, take in front of your club's enough. Playing for your country is on a different level. But you can ease that pressure on yourself by going through a routine. You know what I mean? Thinking,
it's about finding things you can control, isn't it?
Yes.
Repetition.
Yeah, and like the goalkeeper had calm everybody down and take that pressure with the opposition trying to get the ball and a bit of housery, whatever. But as Leanne said there, if a player, Leanne said she didn't want some to know your routines, you have to know when you're going to take the penalty, what order you're going to take them on, and obviously with the substitutions that Sarina Wiegman makes, she's got to have a clear thought in her head about who's on the pitch and who's going to be the 6th penalty taker, who's going to be the 7th penalty taker.
We used to have meetings about this. Like, we had a sports psychologist, and that was what, like, we had loads of meetings about it.
Yeah. Oh, well, if it goes that far, we're surely in for more drama tonight as well. Let's hear from the England captain, Leah Williamson, who's been speaking to Courtney Sweetman-Kirk about the journey of the women's game in this country.
They're the best at what they do on the ball, the way they possess the ball, how dangerous they can be, and the individual sort of talent that they have. So I suppose we can expect that. We'll be ready for little tweaks and differences, but I think for us we have to be disciplined, we have to be comfortable without it, the ball being, and just, you know, we have to be us and play the way that we know that we're good enough to do. So hopefully that'll all come together tomorrow.
And on the pitch it could be an amazing achievement, but just going back to what you said about what you stand for as players as well, what could this achieve again back home for girls and women's sport?
I think I'm struggling to remember much about 2022 being in the same situation, but we spoke about it being the beginning of just a new world, and a new world for women's sport, not just women's football. And I think this is a continuation of that. Obviously I wasn't in Australia, but the girls reaching that final, like, it is an achievement. It is a consistency now that hopefully, you know, those younger generations, they're watching us and they know that this place is for them. And I think credit to Switzerland for the way that they've hosted the tournament and the change that's even happened in their country, and you hope it spreads Europe wide.
And lastly, for the fans in the stadium and everyone at home, what is your message to them?
My message is thank you for the support. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know there's a few crazy moments along the way, but I hope you've enjoyed it, and all we can ever promise is to do our absolute best, and it's been enough before. We hope it's enough tomorrow, so stay with us, and hopefully it'll be a good day.
She speaks so well, doesn't she, Leah Williamson there, and I just wanted to ask you there, Lianne, about the impact of England winning once again has made the desired impact anyway, but sealing the silverware, it just goes that extra mile, doesn't it, inspiring that next generation?
It does, but I also think, Ollie, there shouldn't be that pressure. Like, sometimes I'm like, just let the players play. You know, it's not on them. Like, when the men play, they don't say, oh, you know, they're inspiring this, inspiring that. It's like, just let the players play and let them do their thing. It's interesting because I remember after the last Euros, the girls spoke about when they came back and the repercussions of them becoming almost like overnight successes. Rachel Daly was coming on my show earlier in the season, and she was talking about people standing outside her house. You know, the girls were just like catapulted into this like level of fame. But that's where we've always wanted to be. We want the game to be critiqued like it does in the men's game. You know, the pressure will come with the amount of people now wanting to get involved in women's football. But I just don't think there needs to be this whole, they're inspiring the nation, they're doing this, they're doing that. Do you know what I mean? Like, just let them play football. They let the men play football, let the girls play football.
Absolutely well said there, Lianne. And don't forget, the game is live. Of course it is live on talkSPORT tonight. England against Spain, the Women's Euros final. All of the build-up follows us here from 4 o'clock with Adrian Durham, and the commentary will come from Joe Shannon and the former England striker Tash Dowie. Tash has been speaking to her former teammate and former Spain captain. We heard a bit of it earlier on, Veronica Biquet, while our Lionesses correspondent Courtney Sweetman-Kirk has also been interviewing Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer, which automatically makes her talkSPORT's political correspondent as well. Make sure you tune into our build-up following us at 4 o'clock to hear both of those exclusive interviews. Right, we are edging ever closer. We're going to be crossing back to Switzerland next as we build up to the final, which kicks off at 5 o'clock.
Inside the box, and she pokes it home off the goalkeeper, and in.
Live for these moments as a little girl, so that little girl today enjoyed every moment of that.
Now time for another summer of unforgettable moments.
This is a new moment, and before every tournament you experience a different thing.
And Jimin! 2-2!
That's what we feel when we put the shirt on. It's that we give everything, we run ourselves into the ground.
Holmberg, it's over! England are in the semi-final.
No, we don't make it easy, but we definitely put on a show for everyone watching.
Kelly, save! Kelly there again, it's in! England 2, Italy 1. This is just extraordinary.
Tanner, oh, she scored! Berger beat never near posts, and Tanner finds a way.
I think England, I'd actually prefer to go up against Spain than I would Germany.
But it's the world champions Spain, who are one game away from European glory. But England's Lionesses will have something to say about that.
They will indeed. It has been an absolute roller coaster of a tournament, but the Lionesses are one game away from retaining their Euros title tonight. They take on Spain, kick off at 5 o'clock in the Women's Euros final. We are live on talkSPORT at Box Park, Wembley. I'm Olly Clink. I'm alongside the former Lioness, Lianne Sanderson, and the former Arsenal winger, Perry Groves. You've had a bit more of your energy drink, by the way.
I am, but I'm wanting some of that food. The smells of all the food's coming through. I'm like, this place is amazing.
She wants a little bit of stodge. A little bit of stodge.
It is sensational here, though, isn't it? There's so many fans getting involved. There's flags draped over them. There's bucket hats. There's shirts, of course, and these fans are getting very, very excited indeed. We're well under 2 hours away from kickoff. Now, let's cross over to Switzerland, shall we? Because our reporter Angelina Kelly is in Basel ahead of the final and has some England fans with her.
Yes, thanks, Ollie. Still here outside the stadium with another Lionesses fan. What's your name?
Sarah.
And Sarah, one player I've got to ask you about straight up is Chloe Kelly. She's been absolutely amazing. Are you in the camp of she should be on the bench or she should be in the starting 11?
It's harsh, but I think on the bench, because she's a game changer and, you know, she's settled into that role and it's actually a really big skill. So I think bench. Sorry, Chloe Kelly.
And tournament, they've done it the difficult way, but as a fan,
I think it's proven that when it gets tough, we can dig in and still win, and that will be everything today. So hopefully, you know, if the Spain get ahead, it means they won't give up and they believe they can come back. But, you know, here's to a win.
Exactly, here's to a win. Back to you guys in London.
Thanks very much, Angelina Kelly there. And now that fan disagreeing with you, Lianne Sanderson, saying that
how dare they?
But saying that Kelly should start on the bench. So yeah, I mean, it is something that is you know, it's
unfortunately she's pigeonholed herself though into that role, isn't she? Because, you know, what I like though, to be honest, there's not really much pressure in that situation. If you know your role of responsibility, Chloe can do that in an incredible way. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's making that impact, but sometimes when you're so good coming off the bench, you know what it's like, Pearl. I played on teams where I'd say to the manager, why am I on the bench? And he said, one of the coaches actually said to me, because I know you can handle it. And he plays someone else. This was playing for England as well. And I'm like, what? Because some players can't handle it. Like, they'll be like bad egg in the changing room, you know, not show up for their teammates. Whereas, because I always was able, I hate being on the bench. And this whole finishers thing, I don't know what you think about that, but like, for me, you're a sub. Psychologically, I'm still a sub, but I guess whatever helps in the camp to help them not feel like to feel part of it, but you're still a sub, aren't you? Like,
you're feeling frustrated, and when you're on the bench, let's be honest, you're hoping that the player who plays in your position has a bit of a shocker or gets a slight injury. Not a major injury, just a little calf pull, so that means you can play the next game.
Thank you for actually spitting facts, Perry Grove, because people don't talk about that. Like, you know, it's so true. Like, you know, it's a hard one, innit, when you're on a team, because if someone bangs in a hat-trick when I was on the bench for England, it's like, you want your team to do well, but you know you're not going to play.
I mean, that is testament to how well I think Sarina Wiegman has managed these players, because she's been talking about it as well. She's been talking about the fact that a lot of these players, whether they like it or not, are accepting of that role. And once again, it's credit to her, isn't it? Because she's managed to keep this squad so happy in the way that they talk about her in all of their press conferences, that they're always full of praise. It never feels like an unhappy camp. You might look at the build-up to this tournament and think there were a few issues there potentially, but actually since the tournament has started, this group is together. It's a squad.
Yeah, and they're almost like a cog in an engine, right? At the last World Cup, Leah Williamson wasn't there, Beth Mead wasn't there. They still made the final. This tournament going into it, Mary Ertz, Millie Bright, Fran Kirby, they were three major losses for me, leadership-wise, coming into this tournament, and they're still in another final. So for me, Sarina Wiegman has laid down these foundations that allows this Lionesses team. All you can ask for in a manager, you might not like what they have to say, but you You have to respect it. I've had so many coaches in my time that have given me lip service. They'll say, oh, you know, not playing because, like, making excuses. Just tell me I'm not playing and tell me why. Communicate open and honestly. And then if you tell me that open and honestly with enough time, I can then show up for my team. Some coaches tell you the day of the game, a couple of hours before kickoff, and you're thinking, I've not had enough time to process this, so how can I really show up and be a good teammate in that moment? So
you mentioned the word leadership there as well, and before the break we heard from Leah Williamson. We were talking about her comments about inspiring the next generation, but she made some interesting comments about the game itself, Perry, and especially that work off the ball.
Yeah, she said about off the ball where they've been working on it, because they know they're going to suffer in the game, because Spain will have the majority of possession. I don't think, I know you cannot take chances of fitness of players at the elite level, because we know Caldente and Pina on the wide areas of Spain, they need to be doubled up on. So when they're in possession, so whether it's Hemp on the left-hand side or if it's James and Greenwood out, both on the wide areas. So we saw with Gareth Southgate wasn't brave enough to leave Harry Kane out because he was playing with a plank down his back and he couldn't run. You cannot have a player who's not 100% fit in an elite final.
Yeah, I think our left side is a bit of a problem, to be honest. I think Alex Greenwood and Esme Morgan. Esme's done a really good job since coming in, but she's not. I don't know what Maya Letizia has to do to get a game, to be honest, because she's a top defender and she hasn't played at all. So, you know, some coaches prefer certain players, different preference, but
you'd have had her in ahead of Morgan.
Yeah, I would have. And I don't think she's been given any opportunity in England. Hopefully that will come in the future. I like Esme Morgan, but I think Maya Letizia is better. I'm not the manager.
Oh, we wish you were, though, Lianne.
It'd be fun, wouldn't it?
It would be great.
I wouldn't want to be the England manager, to be honest. We all think we can pick the team, don't we?
And in Sarina we trust, of course, as well. I just wanted to chat about Williamson and her experience as well, and how important that has been, because as we mentioned in that build-up to the tournament, and you've said it throughout this show as well, Lianne, you know, England were losing heads in the dressing room that were really important, that have been in these situations before. How important is it room heading into a final?
Yeah, definitely, and different players lead in different ways. You know, Leah's not like a hooter and hollerer. She's not someone that's going to start screaming, but I think she has the respect of her teammates. We spoke about it yesterday on the show, didn't we, about what it takes to be a good leader. Lewis Dunk said he doesn't like to get involved on off the field stuff. You know, they have the leadership group and that. People lead in different ways, so I think Leah's done a fantastic job. I mean, when she became the England captain, she only had 7 caps before that, so there was a massive responsibility on her taking that captain role on, and then magnified.
Do you know what I've said before? I think the captaincy in football is very, very over-egged. Cricket captains, if you're going to be successful, you have to have a team that you could possibly have 5 or 6 players that could be your captain. And with Leah Williamson, I think she has a calm authority about her, that she just calms everybody down around her. She leads by example on and off the pitch. And you talk about leadership groups, basically it's senior players have to set the culture. Sarina Wiegman sets the culture initially, and then the senior players then have to carry that out, then that trickles down to all the new players that are coming in. And you mentioned about, let's be honest, it was mayhem before the tournament started because of all the situations said around, like Mary Earps and Millie Bright and Frank Irby being told that she's not going to be at an England camp. But you wouldn't have believed it. You'd have thought, no, this is a very, very settled group of players. So that is down to the manager number 1, but the senior players number 2.
Of course, we've been speaking about the team selection for most of this show because it is a hot topic, of course, ahead of this final. We are going to get that team news in just over 20 minutes' time. So looking forward to that. Will Lauren James be starting for England? So many other headaches for Sarina Wiegman. Such has been the brilliance of her substitutes as well. Right, let's check in on the cricket, shall we? England against India at Old Trafford. It's the final day. Nick Ellaby's watching for talkSPORT.
Yeah, well, crucially, India have just gone past England's total. India lead by 3 runs. They're 314 for 4 now. Washington on 52 not out. Jadeja has also reached his 50. Jadeja was actually dropped by Joe Root on his first ball. How costly will that prove to be? Ben Stokes is bowling and Joe Root's come back at the other end. India just been taking on the short ball. Washington put Ben Stokes away for a 6 and a 4 in consecutive deliveries. England won't mind that. That brings the dismissal whistle into play. This series going back and forth. England really need a wicket before tea. They've got about 10 minutes to do that. You get a sense that if they get through there into the bowlers, the floodgates could open. India holding on for the draw. They're 314 for 4 with 2 set batters at the crease. England looking to try and wrap up this 5-match series today on the final day at Old Trafford. They've got about 40 overs in which to do it.
And how's the Belgian Grand Prix looking? Tom Clayton.
Good news, we finally have some action out on track. Lap number 4 of 44. We are under the safety car condition at the moment as they've sent that out along with the cars to try and clear some of the standing water on the circuit after a pretty heavy thunderstorm before we saw lights out earlier on. Race control have just confirmed it's going to be a rolling start, so a bit like just after a safety car goes in during a normal race, we'll see the cars control the pace, back things up and then go from there. So we're not going to see a grid start at the Belgian Grand Prix, but finally we're starting to see some action, and the track in certain parts does look fairly dry. Lap number 4 of the Belgian Grand Prix.
Tom, thanks very much indeed. By the way, over on talkSPORT 2, there's live commentary of the women's match play darts. It's taking place at the Winter Gardens in Blackpool, while the men's final between Luke Littler and James Wade will begin from 7 o'clock with commentary also on talkSPORT 2. I can see Leanne Sanderson next to me tapping her feet. She's liking the tunes here at Box Park, Wembley. The atmosphere is building very, very nicely indeed ahead of a huge game. The Lionesses taking on Spain in the Women's Euros final, looking to retain their title. Next, we'll be crossing to the St Jakob Park in Switzerland ahead of the final and speak to our Lionesses host, Adrian Durham.
Over the last few years, Formula One has gone from elitist and insular to a global entertainment brand. The transformation's down to American investment group Liberty Media, who cultivated a new image for the sport since buying it in 2016. Better access to drivers, improved content on social media and tapping into the US market have given F1 a massive boost in both attention and revenues. But is everyone happy? The fans certainly are, as evidenced by Drive to Survive. Almost 7 million people per season have tuned in to get all the gossip and all the drama from the paddock. The extra exposure means the drivers can demand a higher salary too. In 2010, the top drivers were earning $20 million a year, which isn't bad. But now, the very best earn 3 times that, with Max Verstappen getting a whopping $65 million in 2025. But money doesn't always buy happiness. Pageantry the changes have brought about. In Las Vegas in 2023, Verstappen said the drivers were made to look like clowns, and the event was 99% performance and 1% race. Some purists who still watch the sport feel the same, and that the spirit of competition has suffered. But Formula One and Liberty Media don't look like slowing down anytime soon, so expect more races, major events and exclusive access in future.
afternoon. This is the Sunday session here on talkSPORT. We are live at Box Park, Wembley, ahead of a huge, huge night for the Lionesses. They're taking on Spain in the Women's Euros final. It cannot get bigger. They're looking to retain their crown. I have just about got former Arsenal winger Perry Groves and former Lioness Leanne Sanderson alongside me, because it's difficult keeping you here, because it seems like both of you want to get down into the middle and start dancing to that music with the England fans. The atmosphere is brilliant in here, isn't it?
It's so good, isn't it? I like that type of atmosphere until they start throwing beer on me, then I'll be out of there straight away.
good option, I think, there. Now, let's cross over to Switzerland, to the stadium, because we are less than an hour and a half away from kickoff, and join our talkSPORT Lionesses host out in Switzerland, Adrian Durham. Adrian, I mean, this tournament has been difficult for the ticker, hasn't it? How are you feeling in terms of nerves ahead of the final?
I was actually feeling okay and feeling quite calm and feeling, if not confident, positive about the Lionesses' chances. And then Spain just walked out to inspect the pitch, and I took one look at Tana Bonmati and I realised the scale of the task ahead of England this afternoon. I'm not saying they can't do it, but wow, this Spain side is full of absolutely world-class players. To put it into perspective, in the 4 Ballon d'Ors since COVID, Putellas in the Spanish midfield has won 2, Bonmati in the Spanish midfield has won 2. That's what we're up against today. They're good.
Yeah, they're not bad, are they? They're all right, actually, aren't they? It's going to be very, very tricky for England. Now, throughout this tournament, Adrian, as well, you've been giving out some ratings for the players and for the manager. Just out of interest, Leanne Sanderson, right? In the last semi-final, in the last game for England, what would you have given the manager out of 10?
Against Italy?
Yeah.
Probably 6.
A 6 out of 10. Perry, what were you going for?
8.
Yeah. What did you go for, Adrian?
She was. What, does the 90 minutes not count? What an idiot.
No,
honestly.
Hey, no,
we were hopeless for 95 minutes.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I agree with Adrian.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's tournament football.
No, it does. You're not judging the result. You're judging the performance.
I'm judging Sarina Wiegman's performance and the subs that she made, with Beth Mead involved in both goals, with obviously Chloe Kelly scoring, and Adjaman Craig. She was right. There's a fine line.
So she picked the wrong team to start with then?
Between a genius and a fool, and Sarina Wiegman is now coming out at the moment as 100% right.
I don't think she can do that today, though, because I think you can't do that against this type of team. You can't. So I agree with Adrian, to be fair. Like, if you're judging it, it depends, you know.
Well, you gave a 6, Adrian gave a 3.
Yeah, but 6 is still quite low. You're giving her an 8.
3?
Yeah.
What you got to remember, guys, what you got to remember is that with marks out of 10 generally, 4, 5 are given just for getting off the bus and putting on the shirt. Not with me then. You have to earn your ratings with me, and I'll be giving marks out of 10 for the final as well. If they win the final, I'll probably give them all 10 out of 10. But I've got to tell you, Perry Groves, what you've just said is why they didn't come to you for the marks out of 10, they came to me.
I've been not marking this show, Adrian, by the way.
As I said before,
well,
you've just said,
you just
contradicted yourself. No, you've just contradicted yourself, because you just said, if they win it, you'll give them all a 10, no matter how they've played.
I was being sarcastic, mate. Flipping it. I thought you had a sense of humour.
Not when it comes to England.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, because we've mentioned Tana Bonmati and Alexia Putellas, but this team is way more than those 2 players. You know, they've got Claudio Pina, Paola will come off the bench, you know, Marina Caldente is potentially up for the next Ballon d'Or. Like, Patry, I think I want to talk to you about Patry, because she doesn't get spoken about enough based upon the players that she plays with.
Yeah, Tash Dowie, when we did our sort of mini awards, me, Courts and Tash said that Patry was the best player in the tournament, and you're right, doesn't get talked about, probably because she hasn't got that Ballon d'Or, or 2 Ballon d'Ors behind her name. But yeah, listen, you could point to various areas of this team. Let's not forget, it was the unsung left-back who scored the winner in the World Cup final a couple of years ago. From every area of the team, you've got heroes and top-quality players. What they've also got, Spain, is some huge motivation, because we all know what happened after the World Cup final. Yeah, they won it, then they had to go through the whole Rubiales kiss affair and all of that really affected them. And I think hearing from the Spanish players since then, in the last 2 years, it feels like their first tournament. Yeah, they won the World Cup, and that's next to their name, and they're proud of it, and rightly so. But I think they feel they couldn't celebrate it properly. So this is huge for them. Don't be thinking they've won the World Cup, so this won't mean anything. This will be the first one they can truly, properly celebrate. So they're desperate to win it.
You said about how important it is to Spain. Obviously, it's more important to us than England. We know that how brilliant Spain are in midfield with Bonmati, Mentor, and Patelas, like double Ballon d'Or winners each. Out off the ball, we know that England have got to work their socks off, and we saw Gareth Southgate play Harry Kane when he was injured, which was derelict of duty. Where do you stand on Lauren James? Because we've got to be very athletic in those wide areas defensively.
Yeah. Listen, I don't think the Lauren James' strength is the tracking back. However, she has been doing it in this tournament, sometimes late in games in extra time as well. She's been doing it. So listen, I think that she will play an hour. I think then she will then come off. I think there's others as well who might fit into that. Stanway has been injured. Lauren Hemp has been injured for a good chunk of the season as well. They may only have a certain amount of minutes in them. That's got to be managed by Sarina Wiegman, and we know there's a big debate about how late her subs are. But the way I see it is a battle of tactics. Spain will possess the ball way more than England. England, I think, will deliberately play on the break, go long ball as well, and I think they might have some joy. Germany did the other night, but just didn't put the chances away. If England score their chances, or put it this way, with those tactics, England will get chances. Spain will have a lot of the ball. They will get chances. At half-time, it could be 3-0 Spain, 3-0 England, or 3-3. So it's going to be an exciting final, whichever way.
I'm quite interested in what you said just then, Adrian. When you were talking about giving Sarina Wiegman 3 out of 10 after that game, you said, well, she picked the wrong lineup. A lot of the debate before this game has been whether or not she starts the likes of Chloe Kelly and Michelle Adjumang. Is that what you would say she should do?
Well, she didn't just pick the wrong starting lineup, she made the wrong substitution at half-time as well. Chloe Kelly should have started, Chloe Kelly should have come on at half-time. She eventually comes on 77 and does what she does. I mean, she's an absolute legend, so I'm a bit puzzled by that, although she has had a kind of fractured season that ended superbly with the Champions League win. With Michelle Adjumang, I get it, I totally get it. I don't think you should start with Michelle Adjumang. I think the opposition defenders just can't cope with her when she comes on after 75, 80, 85 minutes, whenever Sarina chooses to bring her on. That is when she has that major impact. Look at it this way, right? She's got 4 England caps. They're all off the bench. 3 England goals. She only ever comes on when England are losing. And that's the reality with Michelle Adjumang. She has that massive impact. If she doesn't have an impact from the start of a game, then what? You can't bring her on. She's already on. So I think what's working with Michelle Adjumang is absolutely fine. And I think that's the way it should stay today as well.
Do you know what? I think she benefits, Aid, from Melissa Russo. I know she only got 1 goal, but if you go back to France in World Cup in 2018, I know they're not the same sort of player because Giroud was more of a target man, but it was what he brought to the rest of the team. So Melissa Russo's work rate, when she's looking in to get behind, she's not playing the centre halves, then Adjumang comes on, and I think she benefits from that.
Yeah, great point. And I think that what was weird was in the Spanish press conference yesterday, they were. It's almost like they've airbrushed that out of history. But yeah, she's working hard, missing a few chances as well, but she will start.
Adrian, just before we let you go, I'm very, very excited because I've learned that you've at 4 o'clock. I'm very much looking forward to hearing that, sir.
Yeah, yes, I'm quite proud of it. It's all I'll say is just wait and listen, because let's just say talkSPORT colleagues have done a brilliant job on it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Enjoy the game, Adrian. Yeah, and we'll see what he gives Sarina Wiegman after the final, hopefully.
He's not wrong, though. I mean, very rarely. I know what Perry's saying, but I agree with what Adrian was saying about Sarina, because she did get quite fortunate in the end, and we can't do those types of things today. Eventually, that runs its course.
Can't always be lucky. She does it time and time again.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Of course, that game is live on talkSPORT. 5 o'clock kickoff, England against Spain, the Women's Euro 2025. On 4 o'clock with all of the build-up with Joe Shannon. cross over to the Belgian Grand Prix. How's it looking? Tom Clayton.
Lap number 10 of this Belgian Grand Prix. Oscar Piastri leads from Lando Norris. Piastri got the jump on Norris at the restarts after the race was delayed due to a wet track. And you have to say, at this stage, it looks like the track is starting to dry out. Oscar Piastri's been over the radio and said we're not a million miles off wearing dry tyres. There's an almighty tussle between Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen for third place. In fact, they're going wheel to wheel up Eau Rouge and Raidillon, which is very brave indeed. Lewis Hamilton's been on the charge as well, made up 5 places in the last 2 laps. But a reminder that this race hasn't been won by the pole sitter since 2021. Lando Norris currently in second place, started in first. Looks like that trend's going to carry on. Lap number 11, Piastri leads.
And it's the 4th test between England and India in the cricket. It's the final day at Old Trafford. Nick Ellaby's watching for talkSPORT.
Yeah, the draw looking much more likely now. India, valiant effort. They really won that session. It's tea now. India are 322 for 4. Crucially, 11 runs ahead of England, so England will have to bat again. And the 2 all-rounders at the crease, Washington Sundar is on 57 not out. Ravi Jadeja at the other end on 53. Their partnership now 100. The Indian fans in Manchester getting louder and louder as they sense this draw. There are 35 overs left. England only have that amount of balls to get the last 6 Indian wickets. The pitch is dead, but this series so finely balanced, toing and froing all summer. You expect something else is going to happen today. India will resume after tea on 322 for 4 to bat out the draw. England looking for those last 6 wickets to win this 4th test and this series.
Nick, thanks very much indeed. Now let's take a look at the latest Test Series action with Betfair.
England versus India Test Series preview on talkSPORT with Betfair. Built for big game players. Head to the Betfair app for the latest odds. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Delighted to welcome in James Mackey, Betfair ambassador. So James, it's tea on day 5. What are the odds looking like?
Yeah, it's been a huge fight back from India in this 4th test, hasn't it? They look to be in right trouble at lunch yesterday. England were as short as 1 to 25, but are now 13 to 1 to win the game today. India are still huge outsiders at 125 to 1 to win the game from here, but the draw is the outcome, looking most likely now being odds on at 1 to 25. Betfair predicts also looks very different from yesterday, now with England going from having a 94% chance of winning at one stage, now as low as 9%, with the draw at 92% for the 4th test. Just looking at some of the odds on that in play bets for after tea, Jadeja and Washington Sundar both look to be going really solidly at the moment, and for both players to score 75+ runs, that is priced at even money. For England, they need something big from one of their key men if they want to win this game. And on site, we have Ben Stokes to take 3+ wickets in the 2nd innings at 15 to 8, having already got one during the 2nd innings. And for Joe Root, who is currently bowling before tea, to take a wicket, that is priced at 4 to 1.
James, thanks very much indeed. That was a look at the latest Test Series action with Betfair. 18+, gambleaware.org.
England versus India Test Series preview on talkSPORT with Betfair. Built for big game players. gambleaware.org.
Right, we have discussed it throughout the week. We have discussed it throughout this show as well. And in just a moment, we will bring you the team news from St Jakob Park ahead of the final between the Lionesses and Spain on talkSPORT. very good afternoon. This is the Sunday session on talkSPORT with me, Olly, Clink. We are at Vaux Park, Wembley, ahead of a massive game for the Lionesses. They're taking on Spain in the Women's Euros final. They are looking to retain their title. I'm alongside the former Lioness, Lianne Sanderson, who is getting in the mood in her England shirt. I'm also with the former Arsenal winger, Perry Groves. But, right, here we go. We can now cross back to St Jakob Park in Basel and speak to our match commentator, Joe Shannon, who has the...
In the back line, Lauren James, Isun and Walsh, James, Russo and Hemp, the front three for England. Everybody else is... Two changes for them. Alexandri back from suspension replaces Mendes, and Del Castillo 11. That no doubt will have been a real headache for the Spain head coach Montse Tomé. So it's Katakoy in goal, Bache, Paredes, Alexandri and Carmona, Bonmati, Patrick Guijarro and Puteas in midfield, Caldente, Gonzalez and Del Castillo up front.
Joe, thank you very much indeed. So, Lianne Sanderson, Lauren James starts. They were sweating over her fitness.
For the first 10-15 minutes, I mean, Lauren James is my favourite player for England. Like, love watching her play, maverick type of player. But I think, I don't know, this is a big call, this. I mean, it's the same as Leah Williamson left the stadium on crutches and in a boot. That's my concern. We've got so many players in this lineup that are carrying injuries or little niggles.
Perry, right decision to start, James?
Well, as Leanne said there, we'll have to wait until the first 10-15 minutes, because as I said before, you can't take chances at elite level football with players' fitnesses. So I don't think it's a gamble. I think she must be 100% fit. So I don't think Sarina Wiegman will take that chance. And the other change, what Leanne actually sort of alluded to earlier, wasn't it? Because you didn't think that Morgan would play that well, and then Carter comes back in there.
Yeah, massive call, massive call. I mean, she's not going to play Matt Letizia in the final, is she? But this is a massive call, bringing Jess Carter back in. Everything that Jess has had to do over the last 2 weeks is an absolute disgrace.
Yeah.
But her performances, and it should never happen, but her performances at the tournament wasn't great. She doesn't need me to tell her that. It's pretty obvious. So to bring her into this lineup in a final, that's a massive call, I did say there was fragilities down our left-hand. That Jess Carter's gone back in there.
Is this her chance, though, Lianne? Like you said, you know, what she's been through in the last couple of weeks, this is her chance to get out there and let her football do the talking. Do you think that's behind this decision from Sarina Wiegman?
No, I think Sarina's done it footballing reasons. She didn't come out the lineup due to what was happening to her off the pitch. She came out the lineup because she wasn't performing. So, you know, and I think that was the correct decision. But to do that and then to bring her back in the final, it's a massive goal. I mean, Jess Carter's a good player. She's not having her best tournament, but she's a good player. And I think the biggest problem, one of the problems coming into this tournament, Sarina Wiegman came in with loads of players that were not fit, loads of players. She couldn't know her 11 because she had to wait until they showed that they were fit enough to play. So, I don't know. That's kind of a concern for me, that there's so many players out there in this 11 that are carrying injuries.
OK, we'll get into that in more detail in just a moment. But our reporter Uma Gurav is outside here on Wembley Way, which is absolutely bouncing at the moment. And she has some England fans alongside her.
I do indeed, Ollie. Oh, it's getting close to crunch time. But I've got to say, everybody here seems to be feeling pretty good. And I've got one fan with me. Sam, you're feeling pretty good, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm feeling so excited for this game. I'm really looking forward to it.
We've had the team news in. One change from the team that beat Italy, and it is Jess Carter who comes back in for Esme Morgan. How are you feeling about that?
I think it's quite a sensible decision to put her in. Obviously, Jess Carter's had some off-field action, which could have played on her mind a bit. But she's obviously feeling all right to start. Esme Morgan was brought in for Italy because of her height. We don't necessarily need that against Spain. So the fact Jess Carter can come in, feels good to do it, I think it's the right decision. And I'm confident in that back line.
We've been here before. We've been in final against Spain. What is it that England need to do to make sure?
It's probably going to be a bit like Italy did against us. It's going to be a sit back. Really dominated. They had all the possession, they had all the shots. Probably going to...
Stars yet again. Who are you looking at to really change the game for us?
Well, I think Chloe Kelly and Michelle Adjemang are the obvious ones, but for me, I think Beth Mead is the one that can really come off the bench and do something. She obviously won the penalty. She hasn't got much plaudits for it, but I think she goes a bit under the radar. She doesn't hit the headlines necessarily all the time, but she puts in a great performance every time, and I think she could be the difference maker off the bench.
And finally, if you're Sarina Wiegman, a couple of minutes before the game, what are you saying to the girls ahead of this one?
I think I'm kind of trying to calm them down a bit. I don't want to get them too riled up for it. I don't want to get them too stressed. I want them to go out. I want them to play their game. We know people like Lauren James are great when they're confident, great when they're kind of casual on the ball. So get them in the right mindset. Don't make it too big an occasion, as much as you can do. And yeah, that's it, basically. Just try and keep them calm.
Simple as that. There you go, Ollie. Cool, calm and collected. Let's go, Lionesses.
Uma, thanks very much indeed. Superb bucket hat on that man, I've got to say. And I think that's an 06 England shirt too. Everyone is in the mood here at Box Park, Wembley. We're just over an hour away from kickoff. That man there was asked about the fact that the finishers remain on the bench then, because Jess Carter is that only change. How's Chloe Kelly feeling in this situation? Because you were calling for her to start.
The fact that it's a team game, ultimately. I think Sarina's given her, and she knows her role and responsibility. But, like, the fact that Lauren James is being sent out there when she's not 100% fit, you can't be. She come off at half-time in that game. But I think with Lauren James, though, I just want to say, like, there's this misconception that she doesn't defend. And it really annoys me, because she does defend. She's very nonchalant in how she plays football, but that doesn't mean she has to be tracking back, doing slide tackles and all that. Everyone's focused on her. Ella Toone didn't look, you know, she looked tired the other day, but no one's really talking about Ella Toone. It's always like Lauren James doesn't look fit. If I was Chloe Kelly, I'd be absolutely raging.
Do you agree, Perry? Kelly raging about this?
I think what you've got to do is you've got to turn that energy into positivity, which Chloe Kelly has done brilliantly throughout our career for England. I'm just looking at down our left-hand side with Greenwood and like Carter coming back in. I know Bonmati plays in midfield 3, but she sort of operates, although they're very fluid, down their right with Caladente. That all the individual battles are going to be huge, but I think that is going to be massive down.
I'll start with you, Leanne. I want a prediction for this game. How's it going to go? Is it coming home?
Heart and head.
Oh, head and heart. I'm going to say my head's telling me Spain are going to win 2-1, but my heart's telling me, come on, England.
Always go with your heart, Leanne. What about you, Perry? What are you saying?
You know what? I think that the last team to stop Spain from scoring was England. Last 10 on the trot. So I think as well, the longer the game goes on, if we can stay in it, Spain know players that are coming off the bench proven to change the game. So I think if the longer we go in it, I think then the pendulum gradually swings into ours. I think we're going to win after extra time.
Wow, after extra time as well. So much off the ball work is going to have to happen. It is an elite Spain team, but it can be done. In Sarina we trust, and hopefully the Lionesses can bring it home once again and retain their crown. Right, we better take our seats for the action, because Box Park is filling up. Leanne, thank you very much.
Nice one,
indeed. Perry Groves.
Let's hope Aid gives Wiegman a 10 out of 10 at the end of this game.
Oh, it's got to be 12 out of 10. Yeah. Hopefully it is. Hopefully this time around he gives full marks, because the Lionesses are bringing it home. Right, it's time. Let's cross over to Switzerland, because it's time for all of the build-up to the Women's Euro 2025 final. England against Spain. Adrian Durham is next.